Çok iyi seçiyorum. Hiç sevmiyorum. Olmaz. Sen yanlış biliyorsun abi, yanlış gösteriyorsun bize. Onu boğaza da alıyorsun. Oradan kalabalık yapmam lazım biraz. Böyle bir şöyle çekme lazım tabii. Gene gelmiyor. Alakası yok. Şöyle sen de. Şey yapsana. Ben şimdi niye gelmiyor? Şöyle. Altı üzerine alsana. Ana crazy. Alt tarafı düşün. Üzerine çıkıp. Ondan sonra ana crazy. Bunu direkt şöyle yapalım. Biraz da yüksek ama.
Ready. %100'ünü ver. Tamam. Ready, go. Sankaku. Scissor sankaku. Elbow isolation.
Ezmiyorsun. Gerek yok. Çok yoruluyor. İşte. Çok scramble yapıyorsun. Hemen yapılması gereken bir şey değil. Çok mamure çıkıyor. Fazlası yavaşına yıkama. Biraz bir şeyler. Tepten. Omzum acıdı. Şahane. Bir kere yedim onu. Güzel bak. Bagi. Bagi mi? Ne mi? Kapatacağım. Böyle bir şey.
Beyler dikkat edin. Dikkat edin arkadaşlar. Today we will cover the back controls. In Jiu-Jitsu, fundamentally people say that position before submission. But there are two more things to do before submission when you get the dominant control. They are isolating the limbs and making him uncomfortable. So if I take somebody's back, if I am not able to make him uncomfortable in this position, which means if he's not getting more tired than me, if I'm not gassing him out, probably I'm not gonna get any submissions. The other obstacle is he's gonna be very tight here, so I need to be isolating his elbows, isolating his wrists to open up the choke. And that philosophy can be applied to any dominant position in Jiu-Jitsu. But first things first, we are going to take a look at how we can establish the back control. Traditionally, two hooks are considered as the back take. If I only have one hook, it's still good, but it will not score any points. In some organizations like BJJ, body triangle is not considered as a back control, but in my humble opinion, that's the ultimate back control. We're going to talk about all of them soon, but let's start with the turtle position. So in wrestling, they call it all fours. Let's go a little bit backwards like this. I'm going to put my knee all the way in. So can you go up? The deeper, the better. I'm going to have a seat belt, and I will get to here. It's called stomping. I'm going to stomp over his ankle, and I will get to here. I will pull that in all the way here. Now I'm on my both knees. Let's walk this way. I'm on my both knees. My right knee, which is going to be my first bottom hook, and my left knee is trapping his bottom ankle. In that regard, if I put his head on the ground, there is no reason that he can resist, because anatomically his spine will be below my shoulders, so he's going to turn. In that regard, I put my shoulder over his neck. I make sure that his head touches the ground. If his forehead is here, he's not going to turn if I pull him. But if I put him on the ground and put this knee all the way in, he's going to turn with me. Now my knee line is over his hip line. So the bottom hook is inevitable. And I can shrink out a little bit. I'm going to insert the second hook. Now I officially took his back. But there is another obstacle. He might be a very flexible person. He might have knee to elbow connection. That's why I'm not going to rush towards his hook, his inner thigh to get the hook. I'm going to lift my knee and I'm going to insert it on his hip first. Can you lift your knee quickly? I'm going to insert this on his hip first, and then I'm going to get the hook. So let's do it from this angle. Walk, walk, walk. So here, yeah, do the same thing. I want you to pay attention to my foot. I'm not going to try to cover the space like this. I'm going to lift this up all the way to his hips, and I'm going to get to here. That's how you take the back. One more time. Now let's do it on this angle. So can you go look towards the wall? A little bit more this way. One, two. I stomp over his ankle. Sometimes he's too heavy on his hips and ankle is not exposed. That's why I'm going to off balance him and I'm going to expose his ankle. I'm going to put this knee in, cover, pull, shoulder over his spine, circle, get the bottom hook. Now his hip is too high to get the second hook. That's why I'm going to shrink out, make some space. If he lifts his knee, I'm going to lift my own knee and attack his hip instead of his thigh. I'm going to push from his hip. I'm going to get the second hook. Now another possibility of taking the back is from the mounted or side controlled top position. So let's say that I'm on side control. We are going to cover this in another video, but in 4x4 system, I either cross face him like this, or even better, I get to his far side lat. I'm going to pull my elbow. I'm going to put my chest on him. I slide to the mount. I spider walk my fingers. I get to the single chest wrap. From the single chest wrap position, I'm going to grab his wrist. I make a figure 4 with my arms. I'm going to turn this way and I'm going to push it this way. Now I establish the S mount with gift wrap. From here, I'm going to lift my knee all the way here. Actually, slide is a better word. I'm going to slide my knee. I'm going to connect my chest behind his back and over my right shoulder, not over my back, so I'm not going directly towards my back. I'm looking towards my right shoulder and putting my right butt cheek and right shoulder on the ground, ending up on the back position. Let's do it one more time, but this time from this angle. I have a tight cross face, underhook, walk, walk, walk, walk, walk, single chest wrap. And I can make a transition to double chest wrap. S mount, maybe. From the S mount, as soon as I have the Kimura grip and gift wrap, I just step tightly, push him, put my shoulders behind his back. So if my chest is here, and if my shoulders are here, the back take is inevitable. But in order to do that, I have to put my hips lower than his shoulders. So look what I do with my foot. My foot is going to slide here, and my knee will slide here. So I need to be here, and I make sure that I glue my shoulder next to his back. So I don't want any space. I don't want to be here. I want to be very close to his upper body, here. And then, now I'm going to show you how to do it in a wrong way. This is wrong, because now I'm carrying his body weight. I cannot take his back like that. If I want his back, I'm going to turn over my left shoulder and my left butt cheek. You see, now my right shoulder is not on the ground, and my right butt cheek is not on the ground. Now we end up here. There are some other ways to do it as well, but those are the fundamentals. Now let's take a look at the basic control position. So can I take your back like regularly? We are not going to get to the sides. So on a fundamental level, I don't want any space in between his lower body and my lower body, and his back and my chest. So I don't want to be here, obviously. I want to be here, here, pinching my knees but not squeezing them, just firmly, by using 20% of my power, firmly pinching them. And I want my head to be on the other side. So this is called the seatbelt grip. Seatbelt means this one goes over and this one goes under. You never want to be here, because now I don't have any control. Can you escape and turn towards me? If I try to control him, it's very difficult. But if I have one underhook, controlling either like this or like this in a seatbelt scenario, if I put my chin over his opposite shoulder of my choking arm. So let's say this is my choking arm, this is my underhook arm, and my head is going to be on the opposite side of the choking arm. So if I'm here, I'm going to be here. If I'm here, I'm going to put my chin here. And I put my chin towards his neck and make everything tight. And I glue his upper body into my upper body. So that's the fundamentals. Sometimes, in some cases, double unders might work, but you got to be careful that he can bridge with his shoulders and climb up on me. So yeah, there's nothing preventing him climbing up if I'm too relying too much on my double unders. So this is a better position. Also make sure that this arm does not go here, because can you grab my wrist? Yeah, and then get to here, 2-on-1. Now it's a bad position for me. In some cases, if I control this wrist with a gift wrap, in some cases that's okay for some transitions. But besides that, it's not a good idea to get to here. And that's what he wants actually, because he wants to bridge towards me. He wants to bridge towards me. Okay, let's go back. So, also, obviously I don't want to be here. In a realistic scenario, we never end up here in a match. We either end up on here, or we end up on the other side. So, ideally that's what you're going to be seeing in a grappling match or in an MMA match. So one of my shoulders and one of my butt cheeks are not touching the ground, and we have like a 45 degrees of motion towards one of the sides. And which side is better? Bunu da ezandan sonra söyleyeceğim. Dur abi. Biraz daha ileri git. Okay, go. So it's gonna be either on this side or it's gonna be on this side. Which one is better? Actually, there is no certain answer because we should get to the middle. I mean, yeah. Fundamentally, many professors claim that going towards the choking side is the strong side. Why? Because right now my right choking arm is like a pillow right under his neck. So in order to choke him, I need to cover less distance compared to this guy. Also, when I'm here, this is the weak side, by the way. My head, if my head is not here, all it takes is for him to escape, is to put his right shoulder on the ground and escape. But according to them, here, because I'm controlling his bottom shoulder better, it's harder for him to escape, and also it's easier for him to choke him. However, some athletes prefer the weak side, because on the weak side, we have one system called, can you grab my right wrist, choking wrist. Yeah. We have a system called straight jacket. And from the straight jacket system, it's very easy to trap his arm compared to the strong side. And when I trap his arm, it's 2 versus 1. My 2 arms versus his only 1 defending wrist, and it's very easy to choke him out. So there are pros and cons. On the weak side, it's slightly easier for him to escape, but if you know what you are doing, you can still prevent it. Also, on the strong side, you control his bottom shoulder and you need to cover less distance to choke him. So let's start with the fundamental, traditional strong side. So I want to put you on this angle so they can see it easier. Doesn't matter which side you go, make sure that your head is on the underhook side or on the opposite side that you are going to choke him. Also, the defense comes from his shoulders and his positioning of his body. I recognize one thing. All those years when I was teaching Jiu-Jitsu, if somebody did some sort of boxing beforehand and came to Jiu-Jitsu classes, it was easier for them to defend back attacks. Why? Because there is one thing called boxing shoulders. So their back looks like this, like a turtle shell. They hide their chin under their shoulders when they box. And that's exactly what you need to do when you defend the back attacks. So I want you to have some boxing shoulders, Selçuk. Yes. You see, his chin is not available to attack. His shoulders are preventing me from getting under his neck. And also if he adds some like grip fighting, it's very difficult for me to choke him. But it's only possible, continue. It's only possible if his body is like a crescent. But if I stretch his spine out like this and extend him in a 180-degree motion, he cannot do it anymore. So keep the same motion, but now I'm gonna extend his upper body. You see, his chin is being exposed. Yeah, still keep that. His chin is being exposed compared to here. So his goal is to keep the boxing shoulders, have high wrists, like wrists high as his eyes. And my goal is to stretch him out and expose his neck. So let's say that I took his back. He has boxing shoulders. Shoulders up, chin down. Hands up, chin down. Okay, so here it's hard for me to choke him. But first things first, I need to use my lower body, my hips, to extend him all the way here. Once I extend him 180 degrees, not only that it's gassing him out, but also it's making the choke easier to establish. So whenever you take somebody's back, and doesn't matter which side you took, either the weak side or strong side, the first thing you do is you stretch him out. The more stretched out his spine is, the harder for him to establish the boxing shoulders, and you expose his neck. The second thing, that's straight. Whenever you take somebody's back, your underhook side is the side that you gotta be controlling. You control his wrist, or even better, 4 fingers. In Jiu-Jitsu, if you grab only 1 finger, the referee will not like it. It's an illegal move. But 4 fingers are completely okay. Or the wrist control is okay. And then you put his hand glued on his body. Because if I extend it, he can escape. But if I put it here, it's difficult for him to escape. That's what you do. Also, if you're afraid of the other wrist, yeah, so grabbing my wrist, if you're afraid of that, you can walk this here first, under his armpit, and here. So those are the things that you got to be doing, even though you are a beginner. When you take somebody's back, the first thing you do, you stretch him out. The second thing you do, you control the opposite wrist, and you get to here. So let's make a flow chart. Did you take somebody's back? If the answer is yes, okay. Did you stretch them out? If the answer is yes, did you control his opposite wrist and choke him? If this guy goes all the way, can you walk? Yeah. If this guy goes all the way here, then I can let this go and start choking him. But if this guy is not here, let's say it's here, and he has boxing shoulders, I'm not going to let this go, because this choke is not going to work. And also, I end up, if he closes his elbows, I end up in a position that I don't have any underhooks. So now 2 arms over, instead of 1 over, 1 under. Now because I left this early, I'm here too early, and now he can escape. And because he pinched the elbows, I cannot go back again. I want you to recognize that once you leave this underhook, there is no going back, because he's going to pinch. He's not stupid, he knows what is he doing. So it's difficult. Now he can escape easily. On the other side, boom, other side, boom. So make sure that when you leave the underhook, that's the time to burn the bridges. So that's why if my choking arm is not here, I'm not gonna let this go. So let's say we are fighting, I'm pummeling and he's defending, I'm pummeling, and one more trick. Let's turn this way. I'm gonna put my finger like this here, because boxing shoulders, please. And also this wrist is defending everything. So it's difficult for me to just go directly towards the neck. So I'm gonna make a gesture like this. I'm gonna put those fingers spiking all the way under the ear, all the way here. Like it hurts you, right? One more time. I'm here. So I want you to have boxing shoulders, and I want to use your left wrist. Yeah. I'm sorry about that. Okay. So if you do what just I said, 80% of the time you're going to be choking people. The rest of the video is against really good grapplers. After purple belt level, people are going to be doing all sorts of different techniques to escape your back. So we need more advanced approach. So I took his back. He does everything correctly. So I want you to have boxing shoulders and cross wrist. I get to here. Now I need a body triangle. Sometimes you're not going to be able to do body triangles. It's because either you are not flexible enough or the guy is way bigger than you. But if you are able to do that, make sure that you don't do it over your toes, you do it over your shin. You pull this all the way behind his hips so he cannot reach to your heel. Because if I'm here, not only that it's not strong, but also he can peel it out. Here I still have a chance, but here it's over. I don't want to keep it anymore. So I make sure that my heel is not on the other side of the hip. So I get to here. I stretch him out. So I want you to still defend yourself. I stretch him out. I grip fight. And most of the time, the guy who gives you the most trouble is this guy. That's why the underhook side is crucial. Because if this guy grabs his wrist, I'm kind of in trouble. I need to clean this up as soon as possible. But if this guy grabs this wrist, it's not a big deal, because as soon as I change the angle of my wrists, I can get out from there. So yeah, grab it tightly. I just change the angle and I climb. Keep grabbing it. I change the angle, I climb. I change the angle, I climb until my wrist is over his shoulder. If my wrist is over his shoulder, I can let this go. I go behind him, and while at the same time pushing, thrusting with my hips towards his hips, I'm going to be pulling my elbows down. That's how I finish the choke. The first choke you learn in Jiu-Jitsu is mostly the cross-collar choke. And it's not a common choke. Why do they teach you this? Because they want you to understand the elbow mechanic. Whenever you are choking somebody, you don't want to open up your elbows. You want to pull your elbows towards your kidneys. Because if I open up my elbows like this, it's gonna hurt his neck or chin. But it's not gonna choke him out. If I want to choke him out, I want his shoulders coming at me, and I want my elbows going towards my kidneys. So there is no space for him to breathe. And the same thing goes with rear naked choke. You need to be touching your elbows together, pinching them, and then pulling your elbows towards your kidneys. That's how you finish a rear naked choke. If your rear naked choke looks like this, you're doing it wrong. So, if I open up my elbows, it's gonna hurt him, but it's not the best choke ever. Also, my head should be always here. So maybe when my arm gets to here, I'm gonna lift it up a little bit, but once I'm here, and here, my chin goes towards his chin. My elbows, they're pinched. And then I pull my elbows towards my own kidneys. Now, let's take a look at the weak side. So let's say that, so I'm going to turn, sorry, my bad. So let's say that we are here. Look, my head, the positioning of my head is very crucial. I don't say very crucial, right? It's grammatically incorrect to say very crucial. Anyway, my head should be here. If my head leaves the socket, it's gonna escape. So the control of the weak side is harder. That's why you need to be in a crescent position relatively. So I'm here. I do the same thing. I get to here, but sometimes because I'm on my left elbow, it's hard to let this go. That's why I'm gonna, and I want you to pinch your elbow. So you see, even though my right arm in the correct position, I cannot move my left arm. But I'm not going to be focusing on letting go of my wrist. I'm going to be using my elbow to escape. 1, 2, 3, 4. Once I'm on my elbow, now I can start choking. Okay, that's how you do it on the weak side, but what if he has extreme level of grip fighting and boxing shoulders? Now we need to get to the straight jacket system of John Danaher. I'm here. I try my best, but I cannot do anything. This guy pummels very well. I clean it. It goes nowhere. Okay, if I can, a body triangle would help me. But eventually what I'm looking for is, when I'm here, he's gonna be, wait a second, he's gonna be grabbing my wrist, right? When he grabs my wrist, I'm gonna get off the center line with my wrist. Maybe I'm gonna grab his bicep, and I'm gonna expose his right wrist. And with my left wrist, I'm gonna grab his right wrist. And I'm gonna glue it to his body. And then with my right wrist, I'm gonna grab his left wrist. And it's the straight jacket thing. From here, I'm gonna be stepping over his hip, pinching my knees, pushing this wrist, getting to here. And then I'm gonna put the shoelaces part of my foot behind his scalp. And then choking him is very easy because it's only 2-on-1. But all the time I'm gonna put my chin here. I'm never gonna leave it socket. So let's do it on the other side. I'm gonna get to the weak side, but on the other side so they can see my footwork. He grabs my wrist. I cannot get the choke. I go to the other side with my wrist. I grab his opposite wrist. I grab his opposite wrist. And then I pinch them in. I push. I trap his far side arm. And then these shoelaces get to here. Now I make a transition to underhook wrist control again. But this time there is no left arm to defend. One more time, but this time we are going to be on this angle. We fall on my head. The weak side is defending very well. Everything is proper. Underhook control, and I try to choke him. He grabs my wrist. I manipulate him by pulling my wrist all the way here, exposing his wrist to my other wrist. He tries to defend the choke, and I grab his wrist, glue him to his body. If it's extended, he's gonna escape. If it's not extended, if it's on his body, glued and pinched, he's not gonna be able to escape. If I have a body triangle, I let this go by pushing his hip. I just pinch everything. I pull this, and I get to here. And then my left foot goes behind his scapula. Now I change the grip. As always, I grab the underhook side wrist, glued, and I get to here. Sometimes, before you take the back, the other guy is going to be so decisive about not giving you his back. So I'm here. My initial goal is to get to here and take his back. But sometimes he's going to be very decisive on putting this shoulder on the ground and resisting with his arms. In those scenarios, I'm going to put this foot on the ground. I'm going to sit on my butt, and I'm going to occupy the far side shoulder. I'm going to occupy the far side shoulder. I'm going to isolate this elbow here. And then there is Ushiro Sankaku. I'm going to have a triangle choke. It can be a choke, or it can be an isolated armbar. Whenever you get an armbar, the rule of thumb is you don't want to go straight. I can break straight, but most of the time it's not the best method. You want this wrist to be on your shoulder, either this shoulder or this shoulder. But in this particular scenario, I want to be here. I can clear and start the breaking motion with my armpit. It's Ushiro Sankaku. Another possibility is I'm here. He's resisting and he's yanking his left shoulder on the ground. There's a transition to armbar. I'm going to put my forearm on his body. I'm going to step over. I'm going to break his arm. The armbar is possible from the back as well. So we are on the weak side. Let's go forward a little bit. Forward. I'm on the weak side. I have the Kimura grip on the weak side. Now, let's say I cannot get to here, but I can at least get over his shoulder. If I do not occupy this shoulder, there is no armbar. Because if I just try to turn naively, he's going to turn towards me and get on top of me. Let's go back. This one. I need to be occupying the opposite shoulder here. And I'm going to put my forearm frame on his neck. I'm going to be pushing his arm with the Kimura grip and with his neck on the ground. Now we are in a perfect position. Juji Katame. And this motion can turn into Ushiro Sankaku. I'm going to grab his elbow. I'm going to go 2-on-1 on his elbow, and I'm going to extend it. I'm going to put this foot on his hip. I'm going to turn it to the other side. Sankaku. Ushiro Sankaku. Do you think that this video needs any other topics to cover?
I don't think so.
It's
I think it's about anything.
Thank you. Allah.